yeah, hello, this is how we do the tablecloth trick. Now the thing to remember about the tablecloth trick is that your main aim is for this glass, whatever object you're using, however many objects you're using, to move as little as possible, whilst moving this tablecloth away. Now, the way of course you do that is that you need to have tablecloth side with at least friction as possible on it, and of course it can't have any hems or just be too rough or anything like that, because of course if it's got an edge on it, that's just going to catch and get hit. Yeah, but you know what I mean, right? Now, a lot of people say to minimise movement you should pour liquid into there. Shit idea. Because when you have more mass, right, what happens is that it does become harder for it to move, apply the force, but the friction increases as the weight increases, so that it's going to become, there's going to be more force moving against it, and on top of that it's going to make it slower, and in general it just make it a lot more catastrophic. So if I was starting this out, I wouldn't put a liquid in there. But I mean, just for practicing and that, it'd be quite good just to fill it up and then just see if you can get as little to fall out or whatever. But yeah. Really, the most important thing is not to have too much of an overhang here. You can have a bit more than that, but it's a really bad tablecloth, but yeah. Right? We'll have a go, but yeah. You can have a bit more than that. You want to keep it as close to this edge as possible, really. Of course, the glass frame, whatever you use, ideally you don't have anything that's too top heavy or anything, or it'll just come down rather than just slide a bit. You know, because ideally things with a larger base can be better. Now, that's all good, but you also it's not actually pulling the thing. Now, kitchen roll does actually work better for this, but we're not using that because I'm a bit of an idiot. But anyway, that's done that. So I mean, the main important rule, the only thing you really got to remember though, right? Don't pull up, and it'll probably be alright. Well, it's all about practicing just whatever way you find easiest really, and whatever position you're in and pen. I mean, usually it is slightly better to go down just so you've got gravity on your side, but I mean, it's just up to you really. But you've just got to get as fast as possible and make sure that it's completely even, make sure there's nothing at the edge that can catch it. And then you can just kind of end up terrible, isn't it? And yeah, if you want to make it a bit harder, especially in practice, you can get some harder objects to use, like sticky mat down. Right? Easier, like, as you get a bit more like that. And from there, if you kind of do it proper, it might be a bit better. If you want more challenging, maybe move it away from the edge a bit. However, because this tablecloth is terrible and I'm just trying to film, it's going to be absolutely awful back project. Yeah, that didn't really work, did it? But yeah, the basic idea is still there. Just got to pull it as quickly as possible. But you know what? I'm going to get right, here we are. So, one now we've actually filled up. You can have a go at that if you want. Now, of course, now this time you actually pop one like that. Because if you do it, compare it with one that's filled, of course, still works, but there's a lot more jitter, it's a lot more obvious where you've messed up. It's best to go without a liquid. That's funny. There. Yeah, you get the idea. Just go down, practice a lot, fast as you can.